Alex, we're back.
Adam, we're back. We're still here.
How are you?
Sorry, I'm good. I had no idea how I was going to respond to your question. I feel
Oh,
bad.
okay. Okay, well, we're here. We're back.
We're
We're
here. We're
there.
back.
Daniel's not feeling well. Negative COVID test, but get well soon, buddy. And he is missing a very, very busy show. It's a shame he can't be here to talk about the Ducks getting their first regulation win, by the way. But there is so much to talk about, Alex.
There
So
is.
much. Quick preview. Habs, we got to touch on Chicago game, the San Jose game, and anniversary. I want to look at their December schedule because it is not good. Um, for the Leafs, we're going to talk about the passing of Boris Stalling. Having some very, very good games. Momentum is shifting. A controversial couple ones involving Matt Murray, to be honest, though. Jesus, they played the Penguins again because that just never stops. It's them every other week. Rachel Dory stuff, Tempe and Arizona. It's ridiculous. Alex Ovechkin set another milestone. Love to see that. Anaheim did some good stuff. The Rangers aren't doing good stuff. The Kings just had one of the wildest games of the year, and they're in free fall right now. Connor Hellebuck and goalie mask stuff, and everyone's forgetting about player safety. Idiots. Rupe Hintz signed. Alex wants to talk about the World Cup, the Jack Edwards and Pat Maroon stuff. But I think the first thing we should mention is we want to give our best wishes to Chris Letang, who came out today. He's out indefinitely, suffered a second stroke. I believe he had one back in 2014.
Yep.
He was doing media. Apparently, he doesn't see it being a long-term problem for him. The thing with strokes is the earlier you catch them, the better, and it sounded like Chris Letang really noticed it. Like, we talk about Chris Letang as one of the most underrated players of our generation, but above all else, the man has been through so much body-wise. Pretty sure he had a blood clot. I don't know if I've ever said this on the show. I think you and Daniel know about this, but my grandmother had a stroke when my first year at university, I think. Around like the Christmas break, I think. I think it was like beginning of January. And now she was obviously a lot older than that, but regardless, when I see the word stroke, I see what it can do to people, and it's not easy to see. So it's very good to see Chris Letang in a sort of good mind right now and healthy, and it looks like we'll continue to play, but really scary stuff.
Yeah, man. As long as, I mean, again, these are moments where we can look at it and say, this is bigger than hockey. This is a
Yep.
person, right? So as long as he's okay, I think that's really the only thing that matters here.
Mhm. And it is a somber thing to open the show with, but
Hmm.
I think we might as well also mention again condolences to the family, Boris Salming. It was nice that he got that moment in front of the Leafs crowd a few weeks ago, that Hall of Fame weekend. The Leafs are going to be, I think they're auctioning off the jerseys that have the Boris Salming patches on them and donating the proceeds to ALS research, which everyone was screaming at them to do. Luckily, they did it. I think you tweeted it. It was a good, or you put it on your Instagram story. The best Leafs defenseman in history,
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah, I don't. I don't know how you cannot say that. Again, like we talked about it after when I came back after that game against Pittsburgh. I don't want to again, I don't want to repeat myself, but I think again it's important. I want to note something in particular in terms of this is gonna come off as like a lecture to the players, but I'm gonna do it anyways. Like I'm 22, like what the hell do I know? But like I'm gonna do it anyways. If I'm certain players on the team, and I think you can take a guess at who these players might be. I look at the reaction to those two games in particular, and the reaction to Boris Alming's death, and say is that the legacy you want to have in Toronto?
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Like that's it. Like, is that the legacy? It's a somber thing. I'm like, it's just, yeah. Is that the
You,
legacy you want to have in Toronto? On and
I get
on
what
and
you
off
mean.
the ice, on and off the ice in particular.
you see how he was beloved is really sort of the spirit of being a Leaf was there with Boris Salming, or at least that's what we get. Again, we did not get to see Boris Salming
No.
play. As you said, you're 22, I'm 23. I always like joking that Wayne Gretzky's retirement ceremony was the month after I was born. But like we still understand the legacy, and the players should too. And it should mean more to them because they have that crap.
Yep.
Was it William Nylander? I think didn't he just pass Salming for Swedish like Leafs with goals or something, or was it
Yeah.
overall? Obviously, it would still mean goals no matter what for them. But I mean, that's the poetry there is pretty sweet to see. Um, Moving on, hard
No.
turn, but
Yeah.
again, we obviously missed on Sunday, so there's a lot to get through. But we still needed to mention it.
Yes.
Um, so to move on, Alex, I do think we talk about something that is a bit more lighthearted.
Okay.
Um, and by lighthearted, I mean, listen, Patrick Maroon has just pulled one of the greatest moments of the season, I think, to be honest with you. So last night there was a really fun game between the Bruins and the Tampa Bay Lightning, right? I'm just gonna
Yes.
screenshot something because I want to remember this Patrick Maroon when we talk about power moves of the year at the end of the season when we get to our award show. So Jack Edwards, obviously the play-by-play commentator for the Boston Bruins local games. I think everyone
I
knows who
think
he is.
national games too.
Is he national too? Anyway,
I'm
he's the
pretty
voice
sure.
of the Boston Bruins, right?
Yeah.
Everyone knows who he is. Very biased and all that, and sometimes can take it a little too far. And in the most unnecessary bit of commentary I think I've ever heard, basically is just fat shaming Patrick Maroon. This is three-time Stanley Cup champion Patrick Maroon. Like he was really ripping him. Like it was very
It was
unnecessary.
so unnecessary. Just
I
unbelievably
seriously
unnecessary.
like even Pete Blackburn sort of mentioned it. Pete Blackburn, obviously. Anyway, like he pointed out, I was like, Patrick was just minding his own business. I said, oh, we're not laughing at the fat shaming. We're laughing. It was just so not needed.
It was, yeah, yeah, man. I'm not laughing at the joke. I'm laughing at how unnecessary it was to say that.
Now, the stuff that is fun about this that we can mention is this was Patrick Maroon a couple hours ago. This is great. Um, he tweets out, in support of those struggling with mental health, bullying, and body image, I'm making a 2,000, I'm assuming he means dollar, but he doesn't put a dollar sign, a 2,000 donation in the name of Jack Edwards to Tampa Bay Thrives. And I encourage Tampa Bay Lightning and NHL fans to join me. Now, I think the Hurricanes tweeted, we want to encourage we stand with Patrick Maroon. We want everyone to put the number 19, to put a $19 donation. Now, apparently the significance there is I could be wrong about this, but I saw some people tweeting, apparently Jack Edwards doesn't like the fact that Dougie Hamilton wears the number 19.
Oh,
So I thought that was
geez
really funny.
Louise.
I don't even know if he actually wears 19, so I'm gonna double check that
Yeah,
quickly.
yeah. I'll double. No, man. That's power move by Patrick Maroon. Power move
Yeah,
by
man.
Patrick Maroon. Unnecessary comment.
You, you know what I always remember about Patrick Maroon and why I've always really liked the dude, even though I probably come on the show and said bad things during that finals thing versus
Yeah,
the Habs.
yeah.
But remember when Patrick Maroon had that great season in Edmonton and he didn't really have a place to play and he was offered more money by I can't remember which team and he took less so he could play in St. Louis in front of his son. And there's that great video of them. I mean, it's adorable. And then he wins the Stanley Cup. And then it's just been obviously he goes to Tampa and he wins a few more. I just think yeah, it's just good for him.
Uh,
And it's and good on the Hurricanes for sort of adding on to the Jack Edwards scoring here. That's good.
yeah. So Dougie Hamilton wore 19 in Carolina for 3 years or 4 years.
In Carolina or Boston?
In Carolina.
Okay.
He
All
wore
right.
27 in Boston and in Calgary.
Why does he hate 19?
Yeah,
Hold on.
I don't
Hold
know,
on.
man.
We're gonna be really dumb here if we don't know if there's a Boston Bruin who wore 19. I bet it's gonna be someone
But
really obvious.
even if he did, why does that matter? He wore it in Carolina.
Apparently at one time Tyler Sagan was number 19.
Oh,
What?
that's so cool. But like, what does that have to do with
Another.
Carolina?
I want to know exactly why, but anyway, the Canes love making jokes there. I love to see it, but like man, like Jack Edwards, like I know not a lot of people like him, and at points I've been like, you need that style of commentator, but comments like that has nothing to do with the game.
No, it was so unbelievably unnecessary.
Who won that game actually? You gotta double
Boston
check
did.
that.
Boston did.
Oh,
I was
they
I was
did. Oh,
watching it. I was watching it.
that's a shame. It would have been nice.
My Taylor Hall got 2 goals. Just
Brad
saying.
Marchand get the empty netter. Love to see it. Huge for fantasy. Huge for
I think
fantasy.
Steven
Wow,
Stam I think Steven Stamkos scored Tampa's goal, so just good for Daniel.
oh, and shout
Still
out to the
waiting to
fact
get him.
that shout out to the fact that the Abs got pumped by the Jets. Eh?
Did
That's
they?
really bad. Yeah, 5-0 Jets. I didn't even see that until just now.
Oh,
Yeah, man, that's
so
brutal.
that's what all of Jesse Pollock's tweets are about.
oh, was going on about God,
Yeah.
what a guy. Yeah, I can't wait for them to lose in the first round, like Vegas, somehow. And okay. It's weird to think that the
Come on.
Jets are one of the most consistent teams in their division. Eh?
Yeah. But
This season,
let's not crap on the Jets again. I do feel bad.
well, we can do
Well,
something in support of them quickly.
listen, I'll do it. Like, let me walk myself back a little bit of what I said last episode, because we were talking after the episode, and you had mentioned that how we went from trying to say something good about the Jets into essentially just being mean. And that's not what I was trying to do. What I was trying to do is everyone's praising the Jets, rightfully so. But at the end of the day, this is the same team that was good like 2-3 years ago. This is the same. The difference is the defense, right? And totally fair. You don't have Dustin Byfuglien, Jacob Trouba, Ben Sherratt. Like, again, the defense is completely different. At the end of the day, they found themselves a second line center who's not going to be there in 2 years. But that's besides the point. So what I'm saying is they're good because they were good 2 years ago. I don't know what happened the last 2 or 3 years. That's my point.
hey, maybe they really just need a new voice in that room, and Rick Bowness is doing his job, man.
Yeah,
which is good.
And that's why he'll win the Jack Adams.
So there was a bit of a messy situation in one of the Jets games where, now, this all did certainly come from Josh Morrissey pushing a player into Connor Hellebuyck. But as a result, Hellebuyck, I believe this was against the Stars, I want to say. Was it the Stars?
Yes, because it was JB Ben.
Yes. Okay, yeah, good. I think we both know where exactly we're getting that thought from. Anyway, so what happens on the play is the force of Jamie Benn sort of knocks Connor Hellebuck's mask off.
Yep.
And a few seconds later, the play continues and the Stars end up scoring. Connor Hellebuyck, I thought, had actually a very, very good, well thought out, very articulate message about this. Now, a lot of people are going on about imminent scoring chances and this kind of stuff. And we could talk about that, Alex, but I think what a lot of people are missing here, and people are going on about how goalies can, maybe in the future, they're going to take advantage of this. I think everyone's forgetting about player safety here. I don't know how you don't immediately blow that down. So the argument I see that I really like is if a player loses the helmet, they have to immediately get off the ice.
Yep.
But if a goalie loses their mask and the other team has possession,
where are you going to go?
The goalie who is in the space where they are directly shooting this little puck at high speeds, heavy shots, we're going to allow him to take it without a helmet on. I don't get it.
No,
I just don't understand why the common sense isn't, guys, this is not forget about the thing of the rules and scoring chances. We'll talk about it in a second. I think first and foremost, the most important thing here has to be player safety. Again, without the mask, their head is exposed. The head, NHL, we not learned. It's science. To give a throwback to an old saying on the show, it's science, Sal.
Yeah, and just to go back to you talking about goalies taking advantage of the rules. One of the things we obviously harp on about the rules is how subjective they are, but at the end of the day, even if you fix the rules, there's always going to be some it's always gonna be subjective to the referee on the ice. So that being said, there's a difference between a goalie taking advantage of the rules. And I think in this case, I don't think he would be like, the argument would be, one of the big examples is with goaltender interference when it comes to if a player touches a goalie, and let's say he over embellishes. There's a way to look at that play. I don't know how to explain it to you, but when I watch the play, I can tell you if a goalie is embellishing on a hit or not. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Yeah.
Like Mike Smith was like classic to do that, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
and you can pinpoint which ones were actually, when he's actually hurt or whatever the case may be, and when he's adding to it a little bit. Like, I don't think it's fair to say players or goalies will take advantage of the rule when it can be extremely subjective and you're having the referee. And in this case, you're going back to review it. And in most of these cases, they're probably going to go back and review it. If a referee can't pinpoint when a goalie is embellishing it or not, then we're having a different conversation.
Yeah. Again, and it's not like, for example, Hellebuck, and this is something you got to give him props for. He didn't give up on the play. So there's an example right there. Hellebuck's not taking advantage of the rules, obviously, and I don't think anyone was saying he was. But there are maniacs out there. Remember when you'll like this when Garrett Sparks was in the AHL and he made that famous stay without his glove on? Hell, Marc-Andre Fleury did it a couple years ago too.
Yeah.
Like, goalies are maniacs. Well, I mean, most NHL players are, but goalies are a different breed. And listen, you know me. I'm the goalie guy.
Yeah.
Love me my goalies. Protect the goalie. For the love of God. I know they have the big cushions on the legs. They got the sofa mats and all that, but for the love of God, protect the goalies. And I don't want to hear anyone go against this stupid thing that they should make goalie wear chin straps. No. Stop it. Because then they can't get the actual mask off when it's broke. Stop it. There was an incident last night, fun fact, in the Habs game, where Jake Allen's mask was actually busted. He couldn't quite get it off, and obviously, as we saw with the Hellebuck stuff, I wouldn't be surprised if he was hesitant to just completely rip it off. And don't forget, Jake Allen, once upon a time last year, got a penalty for taking off his mask when it was broken. Just something I thought about, by the way. So, chin strap thing for the goal, stop that. That's not going to happen. But it's just, and what I mean is people were saying, there's a garbage truck trying to do a very tight turn in my neighborhood right now. But like, for the love of, but people would say it was like, if goalies sort of want to have this rule, then they need to have a chin strap. No, stop it. Love of God. If you want to mandate like the neck protector, fine, do that. Goalies should wear them anyway. You're maniacs. But chin strap, go away with the chin straps. Stop it. Stop it. Think of you, Carey, by the way. Just saw the Carey Price thing. Gotta mention Carey Price on the podcast. Miss him every day. Especially the way Jake Allen was playing on that third San Jose goal, right through his legs. Trickled down like a drop of water down a faucet. I hate it.
Would have been nice to get a win last night.
No, yeah, so you picked Jake Allen up on Fantasy Lab yesterday, didn't you? And then this morning you dropped him.
Well, I was going to drop him regardless this morning.
Yeah, he could have got the win. Thing.
Yeah, it's because I didn't know if Gabe Vilardi was playing or not. I'm like, let's pick up the.
And he got 2 goals. Yeah. And he got 2 goals, and so I had Matty Beniers in fantasy, who also had a pair of goals because everyone had a goal last night. My God, Alex. Okay, so everything is busting up in LA right now. So today they canceled their morning. I don't know if it was a skate or a practice, but they canceled it. You may ask why, Adam. That's kind of weird. Maybe you didn't stay up to watch the late game. I didn't because I had work. I wanted to. There were a lot of good games last night, Alex, from what I could see, but I didn't even get to watch all the Habs game. And I'm like, there are some fun games, like Kachuk's return to Calgary. I thought a lot of great games. It's a shame I'm going to miss them. I wake up and I see that the not San Jose Sharks. I see that the LA Kings have beat the Seattle Kraken 9-8. 9-8. So LA canceled their morning skate, which is never good. And earlier today, they have waived Cal Petersen, who is like 2 months into his new contract. In fact, I'm going to actually get you a nice little stat up here from the man from Grav, the man on Twitter from Sportsnet. LA Kings goaltending has been disastrous, Capital. Jonathan Quick in 17 games played is an 890 with a minus 4.4 goal saved above average. Cal Petersen in 10 games plays an 868 negative 10.1 goal saved above average. So it's looking bad in LA out.
No, it's definitely unfortunate because I would argue, looking at the moves they made over the summer, that was the one area that you could look at and say, yeah, they're gonna need some help. And like, I get, you go look at last year at Jonathan Quick's record. He was 23, 13, and 910 save percentage, which was the highest since 17, 18. But still, how did you think, like, Jonathan Quick, with all due respect, was kind of on the decline from 17, 18 onwards. Yeah, he had that resurgence last year, but was that really sustainable going into his age 37 season? Probably
I
not.
think they were hoping Petersen was going to come back and bounce back this season.
But then the question, okay, then that's totally fair. Let me pull up his numbers because oh man.
For anyone curious, in last night's game where he was pulled, obviously, he allowed 4 goals on 16 shots for a 750. By the way, you know what I love about this game? This 9-8 game? They didn't, the Kraken never pulled Martin Jones. So, so whoever has Martin Jones in fantasy, I think it's Scott Dawson. I hope you didn't start him because
Yeah,
with that
that's
many
tough.
goals against, I think it's going to negate the win.
Yeah, that's tough. So, like with Cal Petersen, if you look at his numbers last year, also not fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
895, 2.895 save percentage, 2.89 goals against. He was 2014 and 2 in 37 games. So yeah, he'll hold the fort, but again, he last year he played 37 games. That was the most he's played in his career in LA.
Wow, I didn't know
So
that.
yeah, so again, walking into this season, you had two goalies who you were going to split the net with. There was no starter there. Similar in as let's look back at Toronto last year. You can list a name of teams who have tandems that necessarily didn't work. I just yeah, I feel like they should have done something in this position, and maybe they thought they were going to be okay with the improvements they were going to get on the back end in terms of just all their young guys taking that next step, along with up front, all their young guys taking a next step, plus adding Kevin Fiala in the offseason. But they didn't do
And
anything.
and the continued hashtag Danilo effect.
Yeah, the no, I forgot about that. The no effect. It was they
Clearly didn't
didn't
work last night.
did not work last night. It's just their goaltending to me seems like it's going to be their downfall.
I don't feel bad. I don't feel
I
bad.
know. I know you don't feel
You know
bad.
why I don't feel bad?
I know, I know.
No, say it.
Does it have to do with Mark Bergevin?
So, Alex, I just want everyone to know that today is November 30th. God damn, is December tomorrow? Oh my God.
Yeah.
Um, November 28th was the 1 year anniversary of Mark Bergevin being dismissed as Habs GM. Not long after he ends up in LA, like everyone knew he was. I don't feel bad. I don't feel bad for you guys bringing him on. And I can't wait for him to suggest your best thing is to pick up a depth fourth line winger. Excuse me, at the deadline.
No,
Dwight
they need a
King, Andreas
goalie.
Martinson. Um, no, 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 no.
They
They,
need a
they they
goalie.
know that, but they'll go get a fourth line winger. He'll get depth. Don't worry. It's Bart Bergevin, loser. No, I don't feel bad. I don't feel bad that he's gone. I don't feel bad the Kings are doing. I like Kopitar. I like a lot of players. Let me get this straight. I love a lot of the players on the LA Kings. I
Mhm.
just hate everyone in the upper office who are making the decision to bring in Mark Bergevin. Again, I met, man. Remember who I said was going to be my breakout player of the year?
Um, who's on LA? Who was it? I don't remember.
Quinton Byfield.
He's in the AHL, isn't he?
Well, I don't know, but the fact I haven't heard his name much this year leads me to believe he's not breaking out.
No, I don't think so.
Velarde's been good though, which is nice.
Yeah,
Good for you.
it
Yep.
it is. It is. I'm happy about that one. Okay, so obviously Peterson's on waivers, or Petersen is on waivers.
Does he
Who
get claimed,
picks
do you think?
him up? Yeah, I think I want to think he does, but what do you think?
Is anyone First off, who has before I answer that question, because this is something I need to know,
Yep.
who has the cap space? Because what is it,
I got a
five
couple
million?
teams in mind. Yep.
So, oh God, an LTIR is going to make it a mess. So if I'm quickly looking at who needs a goalie and who has cap space, oh God, not a lot of teams. Holy crap! What is this? Here's the problem. I don't know how much exact LTI room everyone has. Um, Shout out to the Bruins with $46,000 in cap space. Okay, who do you think?
Okay, so it was suggested in our big group chat earlier. I can, and I wouldn't even be surprised considering they have the
Oh,
cap space. They don't
yeah.
particularly have a set, like they have Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. That's their goalie for the future, right? But they kind of need someone now. It's the Buffalo Sabres. Would you be surprised if they went after Cal Petersen?
If I'm them, I do it. Why not? You
Like,
have the cap space.
what's the worst case? It
He
doesn't
hopes you get
work.
Connor Bedard. Well, that's
But do
pretty
they
good, isn't
want
it?
Connor Bedard? Like,
I
yes,
do.
I know you. Yes, I know you. But I don't
Tampa
think.
do.
But Tampa. What do you
Colorado
mean?
probably do. I'm just saying the best teams in the league probably want him.
Yes. Oh no, no. I understand that, but I don't think. I don't know if Buffalo looks at this season and says we're trying to bottom out.
I know
I
what you mean.
don't. I don't think they're
Sorry.
in. I don't think they're
The
in
worst
that
thing is
position.
he doesn't help. They continue to lose games, and then
Sure.
good thing. But yeah, is he a worse bet than Eric Comrie or Craig Anderson with respect to the two of them? No.
No.
So I think, excuse me, I think that could work.
Like Arizona
Anyone
has.
else? I'm like,
Pardon.
I was just trying to think. Yeah, like who else? Like, would the Coyotes do that? Do they have a need to?
I mean, sure. Like they need everything. Like what don't they need? Would be my question. Like they have Karel Vejmelka, who's been fine, who's
He's
been
been
good.
of America, yeah.
He's been Karel Vejmelka, like good. He's actually been good, like in 14 games. And they have Connor Ingram,
Is that
right?
where he
Like
is now?
yes, yeah, on
Wow.
waivers, and like
Oh, makes sense.
they picked him up on waivers. Like,
Mhm.
and to me, it's like okay, Cal Petersen, 5 million in cap space. They have 24 million. I know they're on like a budget. Yeah, you're right. Like, there's not enough teams who have the cap space to like pick them up without LTIR because I don't know how that would work. It's
So messy, man.
Coyotes, Sabres, the Ducks. They got John Gibson. Like, I just don't think that's going to happen.
And is it Dolstall too? The other young
Dostal,
guy?
yeah. The Blackhawks. I don't think so.
Who knows?
The Sens, I doubt it. I mean, yeah,
If you're trying to lose in your Chicago, why not get a bad goalie?
but I don't know. Then that's the question: is Cal Petersen actually this poor? Because if he,
I
that's the
it's
question here, because his numbers, it's the last 2 years that suggests that. But his first 3 years in Ottawa, in LA, and yeah, the first two were 11 and 8 games. But the first time he played
yeah.
35 games, He had, I don't know what the record is. I'm going to pull it up, but he had a 911 save percentage and 289 goals against. And that wasn't on a fantastic
Man,
LA team. But
minus, yeah, but then you look at the one he has now and you see a negative 10 goal saved above average. It's hard to defend that, man.
no,
It's very
yeah,
hard to
no, it's
defend
hard.
that.
He was
Again, I can't
nine
pretend to
eighteen
sit
and
here.
5 in that season.
It's difficult for me to sit here and say because I don't watch LA games and the eye test can only do so much for goaltenders. But man, like it's sub nine. So forget sub 900. What was he like? Less than it was like 860 something.
Yeah, 868.
Man, maybe they're hoping that he can get his head together in in the AHL. Um, and because of the cap it, they don't think like anyone's gonna bother to take him. I don't know. But like he's starting the new deal. Was it 3 years?
Yeah,
5 years?
2 more years after this, 5 million.
You have to make that work. You have to try and make that work, or
Yeah.
otherwise you're gonna have to give up an asset. And like the Kings are at a point now where I don't think they can afford to just sort of fall out their season. I think they have their first this year, right? I think it was last year they gave away. Yeah, okay, never mind. So, but I think let's be honest with the free agent signings they've made, the trades they've made, sort of the standard of Kopitar and Doughty getting older, they want to win, man. And again, I don't know how you're going to do this on the back of ancient Jonathan Quick, as you mentioned, but there's a lot there, man. There's a lot there. It's still shocking he got waived, though.
Yeah,
I don't know
that
why, but
that's wild.
do you want to quickly have your little World Cup rant? By the
Yeah,
way,
I do. I
by the way,
do.
it's coming home.
Okay,
It's coming
sure.
home.
It's whatever.
Coming home.
It's definitely not. But okay, so a little update since last Wednesday was the last time we recorded.
England, yeah.
So we obviously Canada lost against Belgium. I think we talked about that, or I talked about that. Sunday they end up losing against Croatia.
That was tough. Alfonso.
That was tough. Alfonso, get their first World Cup goal ever. Cool. There's a lot that, okay, I'll preface my little rant with there's a lot of cool moments that happened at this World Cup. Watching them sing the Canadian national anthem, Alfonso Davies scoring a goal.
I felt that, by the way.
The national anthem or the goal?
Yeah, the national, both.
Yeah.
But the national anthem was
no,
very
that was cool. There are things we can talk about that happen on the field. There's actually plenty of things, good and bad, that we should be talking about that happened on the field.
Okay.
Instead, we've decided, I mean, the people covering it, there's been such an emphasis on the things that are happening off the field. Let's start with after the Belgium game. John Herdman said, we're going to F Croatia.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I actually don't have an issue with him saying that, if I'm being completely honest. I think the coverage of it is so, especially, I've never seen a more hockey-related coverage of a sport that's not hockey. Can I just say that?
Yeah, so basically the context here is they competed really, really well against Belgium, who's the number 2 team.
Yeah. But those rankings are a lie anyway.
And what John Herdman basically said was we competed with them so well enough, F Croatia.
Yeah, he was saying that they asked him what he said to the team. And he told the truth.
I didn't know that.
Yes, that's the context of the quote. And like,
that's very important.
And I don't blame the Croatian newspapers, and I don't blame the player. It was funny. Like, it was funny. And I don't blame the players. I don't remember his name. Andre Kramaric, I think it was, who said that was kind of like a motivation, man. Like, it is obviously going to be motivation. But at the end of the day, that quote was so overblown that you missed the fact that, number one, no one could finish for their life on the field. No one on Canada could finish for their life against Belgium. Also, was anyone watching every time they played, Belgium was on the counterattack? Because I was, and that game could have been a lot worse. Respectfully, it could have been a lot worse than 1-0. Thank God our defense was up to par, but that was scary to watch every 5 minutes. I won't lie. But again, that's what happened on the field, and I think that's what we should be talking about. Okay,
I
go
Oh,
ahead.
sorry, no, sorry. I thought you no, no, go,
Go
go, go.
ahead. No, because I'm going to move on to the
Um,
second thing, but go ahead.
so obviously I am not, despite being a Brit myself,
Yeah.
British citizen, of course. Um, I don't necessarily soccer's not my sport. But even I could tell. I didn't get to watch the Belgium game, but I watched the Croatian game, and even I could start telling, oh, okay, I think this is a game that's reminding people where Canada is in the grand
Yeah.
scheme of things. And for example, maybe you're going to get to this, but I remember I
Mhm.
saw our good friend Riley tweet out. Riley Fossil's a great guy. Basically tweeting out people who don't understand that this is a step in the process need to sort of prove they don't exactly know where sort of the pecking order Canada is in the development and sort of the program. But go ahead, yeah.
I no, I 100% agree with that. Like there are
Yeah.
things that just overall I look at these games and I say, okay, am I disappointed how things turned out? Absolutely. But I think if you go back 4 years ago, if you told me Canada was going to play at the World Cup, I would have said, wow. Like I wouldn't have believed you because I think like it's just crazy. It was crazy to think about at the time, and they played so well, and they've taken such huge steps. Now, I don't. Again, I'm not here to. So I feel like I've talked so much about what happened on the field, I've lost my point. But I want to talk about the things that like the coverage of the World Cup from personally what I've seen from Canadian media, we'll call it, right? Like that John Herdman, I thought the John Herdman stuff was so blown out of proportion. It felt like I was reading a Sheldon Keefe quote, to be honest.
Oh God. Okay.
Like
Yeah.
that's how, like, it was just like, this is what we're going to discuss, really? That he said a bad word. He didn't even say the bad word. He just said F. That's all he said. He was so respectful about it. He didn't even say the bad word. Number two, this article has been going around like all day yesterday. I don't know if you saw, it was a CBC article. Let's see if I can find it. I should have pulled it up. That would have been the smart thing to do, but I didn't. It was essentially an article talking about Alphonso Davies. And the headline is Alphonso Davies celebrity a potential problem for Canada's men's World Cup team? And so here's some context. So the way I understand it is Alphonso Davies did not talk to non-right holder media after both games.
Okay.
And totally fair. You know what? He probably should have.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll give them that. He probably should have. But the idea that, like, I think this article is so blatantly missing the point in so many ways, because are we actually talking about Alphonso Davies not talking to media? How pretentious do we have to be? I get it. In North America, we have a hell of a lot more we have a lot of coverage. We have a lot more access to the athletes, it seems like, than they do in Europe in terms of soccer. But please, enough. You could have done this after the World Cup. I think the fact that you wrote this in the middle of the World Cup tells me you wanted the clicks. You didn't need to write this article. Frankly, it's also, like, respectfully incorrect.
They still have a game to play.
Yeah. And there's actually a lot if they win, this will be their first victory in the World Cup ever. There's a lot riding on this game, whether people think that way or not. They've never won a game in the World Cup. I get it. They're not going to make it into the groups round of 16, but they've never won a game. He played, like, for context, he plays for the biggest team in Germany and probably one of the biggest teams in the world. He is more famous than any other player on that team. Respectfully, he is. What are you going to do about it, man? Like, I read the article and I'm like, this feels to me like I just read a piece from the Toronto Sun.
I
about
knew
the
there was this.
Toronto Maple Leafs. Like, it is so hockey that it's disgusting. And like, I get it. It's about the country. I'm fully on board with that. But please, this is just it's just pretentious at this point. Some of the things that were in that article, it was like, you're missing the point. We should be talking about where and how they need to improve in 2026 when we are hosting games. Do you want to get embarrassed on home soil? No.
Exactly.
So let's have the discussion about where this team needs to get better. Because at the end of the day, the best players on this team are 25 and under. Milan Borjan, the goalie, not going to be there in 2026. He might be, but I doubt it. Atiba Hutchinson, who is 40 years old, is not going to be here in 4 years. Like, I don't know what I'm supposed to say. We don't need to be talking about Alphonso Davies. In 4 years, Alphonso Davies is going to be at Bayern Munich. Still. What is he going to be too much of a celebrity? Because I love watching Connor McDavid with the straightest face show me around his house.
It is a dangerously Canadian headline that. I saw people
that
say
pissed me
that,
off.
that we have as a country ignored the soccer program at the media level for so long that they didn't blame Alfonso, and I have to say that's a pretty good point. And again, if you're saying that apparently like it's a lot more reserved for them overseas, and I get all of a sudden why he wouldn't. Players don't like doing interview, like they just don't, because no offense, I'm saying this as a journalism student. Guess what? Maybe it must be annoying getting the same questions every time, and I don't like seeing the thing of they trash him when he has our only goal. I should say your only goal. I'm not Canadian, because it's coming home, obviously. Um, you know, Celebrate that. Like that's such an accomplishment to get to that level. And they just that rubs me the wrong way. It's Alex, it's funny. I was watching a bit of Tim and Sid yesterday.
Yep.
Just a
Tim
little
and
bit. I don't
Friends. Tim and
normally
Friends.
friends, yeah,
Tim
yeah,
and
I forgot
Friends.
the other ones. The other one's causing crap on his morning things, yeah. And his occasional tweet about sports and it's just
I
go
love
back
it.
to the weather or something. Um and I was watching Tim and Friends and I'm like, then I get reminded that it's Kachuk's return last night, which wasn't advertised very well. Stop me, you've heard it before. And I just see a segment where they advertise that Nick Kyrgios is coming up to talk about Austin Matthews leaving in 2 years, and I just go, God damn it! I'm like,
and
and
they're
I was
pretty.
like,
Sorry.
Martyrs on an 18-game point streak. The Leafs are looking great, and this comes up, and I actually, I went upstairs and I was like, where are you going? I'm like, I'm not listening to this. I'm not listening to this.
No, dude.
You can talk about this next year. I'm not listening to this. I don't have to.
I promise. I refuse to talk about it on the show until it becomes
Like
an actual reality.
the point I'm making here is to bring it back to soccer.
Yes.
It is so sad and quite frankly pathetic that in the world of sport media, that's where we consistently go to. The Leafs are a absolute wagon right now. Mitch Marner is. By the way, I was looking at overall point streaks. Gretzky's record's like 56 games with the point streak.
Lord.
Like, I was like, oh, how? I actually out loud, I'm like, how does that even happen?
Does he have the top 10 point streaks though? I wouldn't even be surprised.
Of the top 20, I think he has 4 or 5.
Oh wow!
I counted. I was like, he must. Yeah, he's up there. It's hilarious. Lemieux is second with like 40 something. But like Marner is having a historic point streak that I think only like maybe Crosby and Patrick Kane have had this thing. This is Matt Murray looks amazing when he's not pushing the post off of its ring. Anyway, and I'm like, and we're talking about the Matthews. He's skiing. Like how can people not see the writing on? And even so, why are we talking about it now?
No, thank you. I appreciate
not even
that.
December yet.
No, it's not.
This has no relevance. This is so sad.
Yeah, and I think that's actually a good example of a comparison. It's like, why are we talking about this now? If you have an issue with Alphonso Davies not talking, okay, so just to I think go back to your point, like about the coverage in terms of access to the athletes. The way I understand it is there's no locker room access in Europe. That's not a thing.
I love it.
That's not a no one. There's no reporters running into the locker room at the end of the game. It's you
That's really
hear,
hurting soccer, isn't it? Isn't it, Frank Sarabelli? That's really
yeah,
hurting soccer.
the 1 billion people that are going to watch the World Cup final.
Fucking
Um,
ridiculous.
the they get the play, they get the manager generally at the end of the game, and they get a one or two players. How I've seen it done at the end of the game, and generally one of those is the player of the match. So that's that. So I get my point being, if you have an issue with Alphonso Davies not talking to the media, do this after. Do not do this in the middle of the world. This is the first time they're in the World Cup since 1986. That was 14 years before I was born.
Was there color on TV?
I don't probably maybe I think so.
Did
I
the
don't know.
Wizard
I
of
don't
Oz
know. I
with
don't know.
color go on the screen?
I'm not gonna lie. I don't know. Like that, and that's the frustrating part. I'm more than down to talk about the negatives, but let's talk about the negatives that matter at this moment. Like, let's talk about some of the troubles they had against Croatia, because there was plenty of them. Let's not talk about why Alphonso Davies arrived late to Qatar. By the way, he arrived late to Qatar because he was injured and he was getting treatment from his club team, who, respectfully to Canada, probably has better medical services than Canada. Like, let's
Yeah.
not joke around about this. This is the best club in Germany and one of the best clubs in Europe. Let's put Canada in their place a little bit. I think there's a difference between the medical services, and I fully respect him not him being late. And I don't think anyone in that room gives a flying anything. Like, give it a break. This is so
Imagine
hockey.
if an
It's
NHL
disgusting.
team. Imagine if an NHL team was like, "Hey, we're going to help you and make sure you're ready for the Olympics," for example. They wouldn't do that. That makes me, man, I hate the NHL. Hey, Alex, are you ready for the World Cup of hockey in 2 years?
Three,
God, this
three,
sport.
three. Is
Three.
it
I hate this.
2025?
Oh, well, I thought it was 2024. Man,
It was
I
supposed
hate
to be.
this
It got
sport.
delayed. It got
The
delayed.
Premier Hockey Tour, go away. I have no respect for you. Okay,
So
so
that's my
Tempe
rant.
City
That's my
Council.
rant. Yeah.
I
Sorry.
get it, man. No, it was good. I thought it was a good
Sorry.
point.
I was just
World Cup. Who do you have winning it? Not who do you want. Who do you think is going to win?
damn. That's a good question. I don't think it's gonna be England. I'm not saying that to piss you off. They're just they're just perennial jokers, like the Leafs. Like, it's just the I
Oh,
said it in the
no,
chat.
don't
I
worry.
stand by it. Um
Coming home. Coming home.
I'm gonna I want to say Argentina. I think they have a good
That'd be
enough team.
so cool.
I think they have a good enough team to do it. And it's the one thing that I think if Messi wins the World Cup, I think it's such a hard argument to make against Messi. And I like Messi. I think it's Messi won, Ronaldo too, even without the World Cup. It's a hard argument to make if he wins the World Cup. What I want to see very badly is a Portugal-Argentina final, which I think if they both finish first in their group, right now Argentina finished first in the group, we'll find out about Portugal. That I think that's a worldwide event. Worldwide events, like bigger than soccer.
Does John Tavares stop building his decks so he can go and watch that game?
I don't know. I don't know how Canadian he is, but I'd
So
imagine he will.
so this is gonna be a really dumb question, Alex,
Yeah.
because obviously I don't watch soccer. So I'm assuming Messi does not have a World Cup, you're saying.
He does not have a World Cup. So he internationally did not win a major trophy until he won a
Was
Copa
it
America.
recently?
It was recent.
Yeah.
It was relatively recently. I think within the last 5 years, he won a Copa America, which is essentially like the Euros, but for South America. And
Yeah.
then he won another one. I don't remember what the trophy was called, but it was the winner of Copa America versus the winner of the Euros, and Argentina beat Italy. So they
I
won
like
that
that.
one. Yeah, it was a
That's
cool,
cool.
cool little
That's a
thing.
cool idea. Where was the
Um,
Gold Cup? Where was the Canadian division at?
yeah, I don't.
Okay, all right. Wait, so okay, Ronaldo, does he have
Yes,
a World Cup?
he does not. He has a Euros.
Okay. Oh, okay. So they're okay. All right, that's interesting. It's weird that neither of them. That's weird to me that
Yeah.
neither of them have one. Oh,
I mean, it
yeah.
happens every 4 years.
I mean, oh, it makes it that much more special, Alex. Like
Yeah.
the Olympics. God, I hate hockey. God, I hate them. Tempe City Council, and we get to go from this worldwide spectacle to Gary Bettman trying his best to keep a team in the desert. City Council votes 7-0 for the new Coyotes arena. Gary Bettman said they're going to get either a draft or an all-star game because
Oh,
it's pathetic.
awesome.
And he has agreed that if this goes through, and it's going to a referendum now to the public, which I assume is going to, I think it's safe to say the Coyotes are staying, unfortunately. May 16th, the project will be put to a local referendum. But the big thing here is Bettman apparently promised a 30-year non-relocation proposal. And his whole thing was, if we could, what did he say? He's like, Vegas and Seattle right now are some of the highest revenue teams. Why can't it work here? And the first response I saw on Twitter was, Gary, they've been there for 20 effing years.
And also, what's the relevancy to those two markets? What does
They're
that have to do? So let's start with
like,
Vegas first off. Vegas is Vegas.
there is no city in the world like Las Vegas. It is shut up, Gary. Shut up.
And with Seattle, I think you look at Seattle, I feel like they've been I think they could I don't know what the argument to make against Seattle is. Like, it's clearly worked in. I think they've done a good job there. And I think it goes back to the point, you've been there for 20 years. I hope it works in Arizona, man. Like, if it works in Arizona, great. If it works, what's the bad? There's none. There's no bad if it works in Arizona. What I still can't wrap my head around is, by the time that referendum is comes, they would have been in ASU for a full year, meaning
I love that.
it would have been 18 months since we found out they weren't going to have an arena. We could get to May and there's a chance that they just don't have an arena. I don't know how likely that is. I'm not going to speculate on it, but tell me how insane that is. They might not have an arena come May, and they still have 4 more years left at ASU. What is the backup plan?
Pray that Houston wants them. Also, by the way, Seattle's only been around for 2 years. Gary, shut up. It doesn't count. Listen, man, I'm happy for the Coyotes fans out there. I'm happy for no one else here. I hate Gary Bettman. I hate this. I hate the fact that every time something like this happens, I get into arguments with people about Quebec City, and I'm like, listen, it's just not going to work. I want it to happen more than you. It doesn't make sense. That's what I hate the most about this, is it always sparks debates of things that aren't realistic. Listen, man, Gary Bettman has been, man, I get it. Seattle's working great. You should have been there years ago. Vegas is working. Give you credit there. Okay, I'll give you the credit there. Give you the credit there. Arizona has just been. It's kind of like when the Preds made the finals, and he's like, "There we go. See, look at this. They shut up." It has been such an object, like an objective failure in Arizona, and you can't just say Austin Matthews. You cannot just continue to say that. Like,
Yeah, you gotta say it. You gotta start talking about Sean Monahan. Give the guy some
Sean
credit.
and who else? And Tage Thompson.
Tage Thompson. Can't forget about him.
Tage Thompson. But Gary, stop it. Stop it. Stop bending over backwards like you do for the goddamn CHL agreement. God, you
I hate that one.
Oh, it's getting worse. Oh god, it's just poor Shane, right?
Hey,
Poor
don't
Shane,
forget
right?
about Matthew Nyes, okay? From
Oh
Arizona.
god, well that's
Just joking.
Oh yeah,
I'm
for Arizona.
joking.
I was about to say you know
Yeah.
he's a college player, right?
Yeah.
I can't wait for that discussion to come again. Jeez, he better sign so we don't have to hear about that and talk about him not signing again. I'm gonna be so angry. Oh, I said this is what I really, really hate about living in the GTA, because I don't live in Toronto. It's just so predictable the way the media
It
works. It's
is. It
literally
is.
clockwork. It makes me sick. Like,
We
can
do
we
it
not
once
do
a
better?
year. No.
And this isn't. I should say this isn't just a hockey thing.
No,
Like,
it's not.
every other episode of First Take is ripping LeBron. Or sorry, no, of Undisputed. every other episode of First Take is just Stephen A. going, I don't. He's just a whole different thing, ripping the Cowboys. You know, as the playmaker Michael Irving. But it's just like it's a big problem, and it's just I get you need the clicks, but man, if you're just somebody who I think there's a certain audience that thinks, but super duper hardcore fans, I think hate that stuff.
Yeah,
At
I'm
least I
tired of
do.
it. I'm
Like
tired of
I
it.
I was watching the pregame on Sportsnet. Habs were on TSN too, but I thought I'll watch the pregame for I don't even remember what game it was exactly for.
Was it yesterday? Or
Yeah, it
when
was
did you say it
yesterday.
was?
Whatever the
Boston,
7 o'clock
Tampa?
game was, Boston
Boston,
Tampa.
Tampa?
And like they're going on, they're talking about the Flames, they're talking about the Avs, a
Oh,
quick note of
that one.
Seattle. I'm like, this is great. We never hear about this on whenever the Leafs are playing or the Habs are playing, even though a lot of times the Habs get shafted in those games anyway. And then it stops and it talks about, and they have a segment about Mitch Marner, who is not playing till today, I think it was, right? They played tonight. And I just kind of stop and I just say, do you remember when they got eliminated? And the next day there were a pair of game sevens. This was last year. It was the Rangers, Carolina. I can't remember the other one. And they spent a portion of the show talking about the Leafs instead of the game seven that was about to come. And I think I
I don't
came on the
remember it, but
show
I'm sure.
and I lost it.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
like,
it's
I get it, but for the love, I was so refreshed to hear about other places in the league because I was like, man, I love this. This is so fun. I wish I didn't have to work today, Alex. I really wanted to stay up and watch the Calgary game. It's funny to see that they won, by the way. You love to see it. Thanks, Markstrom, for not getting wins when I had you in fantasy, you loser.
he didn't
Matt
play
Murray,
last night. He didn't play last night.
he did it. Oh, was it Vladar?
Vladar.
Man, man, Markstrom, what happened? Remember when he was on 32 Thoughts and he's like, yeah, with this defense, I'm going to win the Vesna for sure. And no, that is not happening. Alex Ovechkin gets a pair last night and has passed Wayne Gretzky for the most road goals
Oh
in
my
NHL
god.
history.
And
At
in like
403.
a hundred and so less games.
Really?
That's what the graphic they put. I think the NHL put up last night. Let's see if I can find it. But you
I guess
you
it's just. I guess Wayne was just.
go on about
I
your
can
love of
get to
Ovechkin
talk
while I
about
find this.
get to talk about Sid the other day. Get to talk about Ovi today. Got to talk about Eric Carlson. Feels like 2014 again, baby. Oh, he's just great. So he's like 7 goals from Gordie Howe. Eh? He's getting there
Wow.
quick. He's getting
Gee.
there quick. I love it. Man, he's still incredible. Man, everyone's about these youngins in the league, but those old bastards, Crosby and that, they ain't giving up. Eric Carlson's playing with one leg and he's like top of the league. Also, you know who should give a shout out to? Who's at like top of the league in scoring? Jason Robertson has been unreal.
Unbelievable.
If I'm him, by the way, I'm kind of pissed off that, you were difficult with me, but you just gave Rupe Hintz an 8-year deal. Kind of pissed off about that. We'll get to that in a second. But Alexander Ovechkin, oh, he good. Oh, he scored goals. I love him. God, I
Can't
love
find
Alex
it.
Ovechkin.
I can't
You
find
can't?
it. No man, I saw this thing. I don't know which what account it was.
Well, he's good.
He's good.
So,
I'm gonna keep looking for it as we move on, or wherever we're
so
going.
Daryl Sutter also was going on about he's like, you know what? He made this remark today. He's like, I didn't get to see Sean Monahan play healthy, obviously, but he's like, he kind of says that's a captain, Sean Monahan. I just found it funny of all the ex Flames, the one he complimented was Sean Monahan. I mentioned him because I saw this tweet that basically Colorado, this is from Canadians A on Twitter, as an EHA, Canadian language. Colorado have lost their second line center for a month. Apparently it's Evan Rodriguez, which is funny. And they have Alex Newhook, who's been playing on the wing. And this guy mentions that Sean Monahan could be a good fit there. And I actually really agree.
You could.
Obviously, I have been harping on the goaltending in Colorado, and I don't like that now the Kadri's gone. They don't really have a legitimate second line center unless they now plan on using Alex Galchenyuk because he has signed. But I think Sean Monahan would be a really good ad there.
That is a good show. The question is, can they afford it? I don't know what their cap space is looking like. I found the answer to my question. It was a Sportsnet graphic. That's why I couldn't find it.
And how does it look?
So in 742 games, Alex Ovechkin or Wayne Gretzky, sorry, scored 402 goals. In 652 games, Alex Ovechkin scored 403.
The
Because
road games, yeah, that's so
road
good.
games. Yeah.
Man, Ovechkin's a maniac.
Yeah.
Good for him. So as I get, I'll get Colorado's cap space up because off the top of my head, what is Sean Monahan? 7 million?
No, six, isn't it?
Should know that, but
Yeah, you should know. Come on,
that
man.
makes a lot more sense as I found it. It's 6.3 million. So you take that, it's around $3 million. Don't make me do the spare change. I was told there would be no math. As I start to, why can't I? There's Colorado. Okay, so they need to make $3 million in cap. Oh God, they're an LTI team. This is so
They have 5 million.
and they're always hurt. And they're always hurt. Jesus Christ. Landis Cog, Darren Helm, and then the Kuskin, McDermott, Shane Bowers are okay, so if they need to clear $3 million in cap space. Oh God, how did you say they have 5 million in LTIR or
It says deadline or current cap space 5.1 million. So I don't know how
you know what? You know what, Alex? You know what, Alex?
What?
That's for that's for that is for Kent Hughes and Chris McFarland to figure out.
Exactly.
It's not us. It's not us. I had to look it up because I forgot that Sakic's not the GM anymore.
Yeah. You know who else they could get other than Sean Monahan? We've been talking about him for we've been talking about him for like 3 episodes. Bo Horvat.
No.
Bo Horvat.
You don't want him. No, you want Sean Monahan. That's a captain. You want character.
Bo Horvat's the captain.
Yeah, well, I forgot about that.
No.
Anyway, there's so much here. Rupe Hintz gets an extension.
Yeah,
$8 million. Sorry, Jesus Christ. $8.5 million the AAV. 8 years is it? For anyone who doesn't know, I didn't even know he was this good. But good old Jay Fresh put out his little player cards, and basically, Rupe Hintz is disgusting. Like,
yeah.
He is obviously part of that Pavelski-Robertson line. But first off, if you just wanted to the basic thing, he's been a point per game player the last 3 seasons. And then his projected not projected, his advanced numbers are also an extremely strong two-way player who, in this economy, this level of player for 8 years, he's 25 now. That's pretty sexy. That's a pretty sexy contract.
It's a pretty good number. And he quietly put up, well, maybe not quietly. I feel like we did talk about him. He put up 37 goals last year.
I was trying to get him from you in fantasy, and you wouldn't do it.
That is true. Yeah. No, and again, I'm going to bring this up again every time we talk about a signing. In like 2 years, this deal's going to look beautiful. This deal's going to look beautiful.
It's lovely. God, it's a lovely deal.
And that line overall just looks Robertson and Pavelski. Robertson, oh my God, just disgusting. He's already worth more than that contract. Easily.
Yeah.
Easily.
There's so much. The Anaheim Ducks have won their first regulation game of the year.
And who was it against? I don't know.
It was the New York Rangers, who blew a 3-0 lead to the Oilers, then blew a 2-0 lead to the San Jose.
Okay. Listen.
To the New Jersey Devils. They do play tonight, but the Rangers are perhaps fragile.
Listen, I'm not. You are trying to cause many problems. I'm not going to get involved. Wow, why? In what way?
Ryan Strome. No, I'm not. I don't know what's that. I don't know what's wrong with them.
No, I just want to pull something up real quick as my internet slows down on me. Oh, they're no longer in a playoff spot. Never mind. Okay. Because remember last time we talked about this, which was a week ago, they were like second in their division. There was no problems. They're behind the Pens, but again by like 2 points. Oh, and the Pens haven't been great.
Crosby's leading them back though. They're leading them back. Who did the Rangers play today? Hopefully
Ottawa.
It's gonna be someone cool. Oh, like if you can't win that game, you toss them.
Why can't you win that game? Why can't they win that game?
Oh, I'm saying that's what I mean is they should win.
Oh yeah, yeah.
If you can't beat the Sens right now, then I don't know what to say to you. God, I wish the Sens could pull it together. You see that Tim Stützle pass and drew to overtime the other day?
No, I didn't.
Nasty, nasty pass. Maybe
Okay.
it was cheeky. Not as good as the famous Eric Carlson and Mike Hoffman pass from overtime a couple of years. That
That
was
is true.
great.
Yeah, yeah.
Mike Hoffman, great player. Who wants him?
Listen, I'm sure the who was no one. I'm
No, he's
sure.
actually man. No, I'm serious. He
No,
has
I'm
been
not. I'm not having
different.
this
He's
conversation.
hurt right
No,
now, but
no,
man, I'm
no,
telling you,
no, no,
he's
no.
turned
I'm
into
not
a
doing this
positive.
with you.
I don't know
I'm
what
not. I'm
happened.
not doing this. I'm not doing this. No, we'll have this conversation later.
Okay,
But I think the Rangers are gonna be fine at the end of the
I don't.
day. Like you don't think they're gonna
No,
be fine.
no.
Are you saying that because you actually believe it, or because you're trying to cause problems?
I think we both know the answer to that question.
A
Alex.
mix of both. Okay, so
Okay. Well, let's quickly look at. Okay, are they better than the Devils?
yeah, yes.
You think the Rangers are better than the Devils?
By season's end, yes.
Really? Because right now they are 14 points ahead of the Rangers.
Okay. Listen, I
Really?
could be wrong. Okay, fine. Like,
Wow. No,
no, no.
I'm just surprised.
Why are you? They have this. Okay, let's start with what really matters.
If it was the Sabres, I would get it because the collapse is inevitable. But
No, but okay. What was like the the Rangers have something that many, many, many teams in the NHL don't have, and that's having a really, really good goaltender who can play 60 games. No
yeah,
one else in this league has that except Tampa Bay and
yes,
Winnipeg, like a handful of teams.
yeah,
And he's better than both their goalies. He's better. Shesterkin is better than Mackenzie Blackwood and Vitek Vanch. Like, I get it. Maybe the numbers don't show it right now, but I think by the season end, I think the Rangers will be better than the Devils. I don't know if that's a hot take. Maybe I have way too much trust in the Rangers, but I think they're going to be better than the Devils by the end of the year. But keep going. What are the rest of the
By the way,
teams?
anyone who doesn't think Shesterkin is better than those two goaltenders is insane and should
Yes.
maybe check into a mental
Yeah.
institution. I mean that.
What other
Okay,
teams you want to go through?
the Islanders.
By the
God,
end
what
of,
are they?
I don't know what they are, but let's say I would argue yes. I would take the Rangers over the Islanders.
The Hurricanes.
No, they're not. Respectfully, like I think the Hurricanes are the best team in that division.
Pittsburgh, and we'll say Chris Letang is healthy. End of the year.
That's
Alex,
that
I'll
one's
remind you who's on the Pittsburgh Penguins.
no. I know who's on. Yes, I know who's on the Pittsburgh Penguins, but we like last. Let's look at
Ignoring
last
that the
year.
Rangers beat the Canes and the Penguins in the play.
Yes, that's totally fair. To be honest, between the Rangers and the Penguins, I feel like it's a coin toss to me. I think could really go either way. Like I just think the goaltending is such an advantage for the Rangers in that matchup. That look at what it did last year in the playoffs.
That, by the way, I listed Devils, Islanders, Hurricanes,
Yep.
Penguins are the top four in the Metro. For anyone
Yep.
wondering why I went that order, I'm not going to go to the Caps because I
No.
think the Sun has. It's a sad. It hasn't set on Ovechkin yet, but I think it's fair to say the Sun looks like it has set on the Washington Capitals, which is I never thought
Unfortunate.
I'd say that. And then the Flyers finally won, but you know what we didn't talk about? They were on a 10-game skid, 10-game losing streak, and then obviously the Blue Jackets were draft. But then if we look at if let's just say for argument's sake that it ends up being the Devils, the Hurricanes, and the Penguins.
Sure.
That means for the wild card, the Rangers are going to have to go up against, we say, the Islanders
Yep.
and
Better.
probably Panthers and Detroit
Detroit better. Sorry, Rangers are better than Detroit.
and Florida.
Man, I could make the argument that the Rangers are better than Florida. I feel like
I would agree with that.
again,
And then Hey, by the
defense
way, the
and
top three in the Atlantic is guess who it is? Not surprised.
Boston,
Boston,
Tampa,
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 Toronto.
Toronto.
God
Yeah,
damn it!
who could have seen that
Everything.
one? Who could have
Oh,
seen
the
that one
Bruins.
coming?
God damn it.
Who could have seen that one coming? Yeah, like I think I could. I like the Rangers' defense, and I like the Rangers' goaltending better than I do the Panthers.
Yeah, but Bobrovsky scares me. He scares me. He kind of was better last year. Now it's like obviously the page is flipped and he's back to his bad year. It's just me. It's just they're worrying me. They're worrying me. God, where do we go now? Okay. Rachel Dory, obviously we know, formerly of the New Jersey Devils, formerly of the Vancouver Canucks, has put a claim forward. Basically, it's a very emotional post. Rachel Dory put out on Twitter, linking to, I think, the term be a formal complaint against the Vancouver Canucks. In this piece, again, very, very personal, talks about how she's been diagnosed with PTSD. Also, I believe there's a heart condition in there. Basically goes through the process of how basically when she was hired and interviewed by the organization, this was very sort of transparent to them. They knew about all this. Then sort of goes through and long story short, people should read it because it's actually very detailed. Clearly, like lawyer helped her wrote it. I think the lawyer just basically did it himself with sort of evidence about everything. The way Rachel sort of sets this is the Canucks fired her, alleging she spoke to the media about her initial promotion that she was supposed to get to work with the video staff, basically joining the bench of Bruce Boudreau in a way. Obviously, she's known for her analytics work and her video work, of course. She alleges that it's not as they say. She also has some sort of things basically saying that Emily Castonguay, obviously currently AGM, one of the many AGMs on the team, actually, they have a few, um, called Rachel mentally weak and unfit for the role. Um, uh, See, there's a lot here. I don't know how much we can really say. The Canucks and Emily Castonguay have obviously denied any of this. Um, Alex, here's what's very tough about this, right? Is when Rachel Dory was hired, then Emily Castonguay, who I believe represented her as at least is very close with Mary Philippe Poulin when Castonguay was an agent. Then, of course, they brought in Cammy Granado from the Kraken. And obviously, then they bring in Swedish GM Patrick Alvin. It was a real showing that the Canucks were being very inclusive with their front office. And if these allegations are true, this is a very big black mark on the alleged sort of inclusion in hockey. Because that complaint, Alex, I think we both read it. There was a very strong emphasis on a male dominated sport, as we know. Um, I hope this isn't true, but also you want to believe Rachel because she's someone I think if we both noticed, like if you sort of ever seen her Twitter or listened to the podcast, what was it, the staffing graph she was on? She's a
Mhm.
very, I think it's fair to say, she very much believes in her morals, I would say.
Mhm.
Um, the term of like women supporting women was really made clear in that statement too. And Elliot Friedman made that point of on 32 Thoughts about like women probably wanted to get into the sport, didn't see this in a very good light. It doesn't scream support. It doesn't scream being there for each other.
Right. And I think, and again, I'm just gonna go off what was um in the document, and I'll agree with you in terms of like if this is indeed true, it's definitely a blemish on that front office staff. The higher you like not I don't want to throw this onto the entire organization, but there's individuals obviously um that
It
it
doesn't
definitely
help that
does.
Jim Rutherford was extremely complimentary of her when they hired. And Patrick Alvin has admitted it wasn't anything to do with her ability. Sorry, go off, but
Yeah, I
very
think
important to note.
it's a blemish on a certain group of people, and I think to go back
Yep.
to the point about women supporting women in sport, I, it's definitely disheartening to read the series of events, considering who was involved in it, right? Like we can look at the end result in being that Patrick Alvin made the decision to let her go, but the lead up to that was multiple conversations with Emily Castonguay,
Mhm.
right? So that I think that's definitely, and I could see from her perspective as well. Again, like I'm straight white male. What the hell? Like I don't understand it to the same way. Like it's woman, it's another woman putting, it's a woman putting down another woman in, like you said, a male, and it written in the document in a male dominated industry. So I can absolutely understand why it's disheartening to see, especially the way it's laid out.
Mhm. Um, we will follow this as it goes. There's a lot. It's very difficult to sort of discuss it right now because we don't have all the details. I remember when the Habs GM search happened and the name Emily Castonguay was around, and I was a fan of the name. And I really hope that this person is not the kind to go and say that someone is mentally weak. I think that's a low blow to even say to someone. Um, you know, I don't think it's a secret that, past couple of years have been really difficult for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and if this is true, what Emily Castonguay said, I think it's disgusting. For anyone who has sort of made these kind of remarks, I just think it's ignorant. I think it's sort of it's the type of thing I'd expect to hear 10 years ago, to be honest with you. And yeah, um, it's also not easy for Emily Dory to put that stuff out because if you read some of the replies to it, it's not nice.
No,
It's just sort of like, listen, you don't have to agree with her
it
hockey takes. I disagree with a lot of her hockey takes, but like the person, like it's like, come on now,
no man.
come on.
I went through some of the comments. It's just it was so plainly ignorant. Like you can pinpoint who at least went through it versus who didn't. Like it was like, did you read it
Was
or
one group the white guy with sunglasses profile picture thing?
maybe,
Uh,
maybe,
exactly.
maybe.
They're all from Alberta. Sorry, Will.
Um, but like it's just like read it. Come on,
Yep.
read it. If you're gonna comment on it, at least read it.
We have so much to get through for the Leafs and the Habs. We've been going over an hour, so we'll get to this now. The Habs had a weak schedule when it came to opponents, and everyone thinks they're good now. Until the San Jose game happened. But Alex, I'm going to read you what Montreal's schedule looks like in December. Calgary, Edmonton, Vancouver, Seattle, Shane, the Kings, Calgary again, Ottawa, Anaheim, Tampa Bay, Arizona, Colorado, Dallas, Tampa, Florida on the back half of a back to back, and then they finish against the Caps and Alexander Ovechkin, who him and Lars Eller continue to haunt the Habs. So I think Habs fans are going to get a reality check when it comes to the level of the team very soon. Shout out to Kirby Doc getting the shootout winner against the Blackhawks and then doing the let me hear it when they were booing him. King stuff. Love you, Kirby.
I
King
love how they're
Doc.
booing him. Are they booing him or are they booing who's their GM? Why can't I remember his name?
Oh God. Oh man, oh, oh,
This
that's
is
embarrassing.
embarrassing.
Kyle Davidson.
Kyle Davidson. Sorry, I should have known
I
that.
think they were definitely booing him in that moment.
Oh, I'm sure, but at the end of the day, we know who made the decision.
Yeah, I mean, he's a good player.
Like
Yeah,
even
yeah,
when
that's
they
great.
made the trade, it was silly.
Yeah, yeah.
Like they got Frank Nazar, I get it, but still.
But we'll see. Kirby Doc looked good, but he's playing with confidence. He's a good player. A good player. You know who's really impressed me too? Mike
You
Matheson. I'm big fan of his skating. Like I know I mean that. I think like I'm not trying to pump fancy tires. I dropped it, but like
No,
legit,
you
his
try
skating is
pump
actually
first round picks out of Florida.
no. He's still got like 4 years. Like he's staying for a bit. He's a French guy. Remember, no, they can't
Yeah,
use climbing.
exactly.
Yeah, no, that's for David Savard. Alex, come on, he's the
Oh
next one.
man.
And him and Jonathan Drew. God damn it. You know, Druid's hurt
Yes, yeah.
again. I was just like, God damn it. You know, sometimes the Habs play and I'm kind of like, oh yeah, Joe Armia plays for this team. Oh, he's healthy. Didn't know he was even hurt. Jonathan Drew, and unfortunately, is like that nowadays. When Chris Weidman plays, I'm like, oh yeah, you. There's just so many just guys around that are there. Um, so they lose to the Sharks 4-0 last night, which is tough.
Unbelievable.
They go 0 for 6 on the power play, which just felt like a real kick in the dick. I think you to check if Eric Carlson had any points last night.
I'm so disappointed in Jake Allen. I'm just gonna put that out there.
Yeah, how
Very
many points did you
disappointed.
lose in that game, by the way?
Let's go look.
I actually very interested to know. You know, I didn't see the fourth goal. I was sleeping, but the third goal I think was the only one that was really on him. Just trickled through his legs, which well, you can't win a game when you go 0 for 6 on the power play, including a 5-on-3. Like they're just so passive when they have 5-on-3s in that too, or a power play on an OT. And it
Yeah.
feels like it's whoever's working the point, Suzuki and Caulfield, are the only ones allowed to touch the puck. And it's just they don't work it below the goal line sometimes. It feels like, what are we doing? Like,
I
just, why?
I lost -8 points.
Nah,
Or I
it's
lost
tough,
eight
man.
points. Lost minus. I lost 8 points last night.
That's unfortunate. Is Pacioretty playing, or did you just pick him up to save him?
No, I picked him up to save him.
Okay, that's smart. I completely forgot he was around. I
Yeah.
completely forgot he was around.
And I picked
Picked
up
up Nick
Alex
Paul.
Nedeljkovic.
Yeah, yeah, that's what she is. I mean, the goaltending is thin in the league right now.
Yeah.
If only we had Frederick Anderson available right. Okay, yeah. The Habs tough. The Leafs. They had their most dominant win of the season against the Penguins. At least I thought they did. I thought they just kicked the crap out of them.
Yeah,
They
it
do
was
beat Detroit. Anything to say about those games?
it's so typical.
Oh, I
It's
know.
so typical.
The
They
moment the
have
defense turns into like a spoiled
mush,
mushroom, they're like,
mush.
we're gonna do
Like
great.
I'm gonna pull up their daily face off right now. Just to read out the horrible, horrible defense they have.
Mark Giordano is probably the best dressed defenseman right now.
Yeah, Mark Giordano is their oh god. So I'm gonna read it out. So this is who's injured. Riley's out. Muzzin's out, obviously. Brody is out. I think he should be back soon. And Jordy Ben is out.
I forgot
They're
Ben was out.
yeah. So they're six starting defensemen. This is their first pair: Mark Giordano and Justin Hall, Rasmus Sandin and Timothy Liljegren,
Yeah. Sweet. Good.
Victor Mete and Mac Hollowell.
Man, that is dog. That is dog.
What?
And then they keep winning.
I
By the
don't
way,
understand it.
like, how dare Sheldon Keefe not play Matt Murray tonight against the Sharks? How dare he?
I wonder why. Yeah, rest. Who cares? It's Ilya
But
Samsonov, so
it's a guaranteed win. Get in there. I need those points, brother.
no, I think it's Samsonov's first game back, so I wouldn't mind. I don't mind it.
Yeah. But
That is some horridity, respectfully those guys, man. I did not expect Mac Hollowell to be playing NHL games this year. That's for sure. And like he's
didn't
been
Daniel?
fine. Yeah, but yes, Daniel did. Okay. But like he's been fine, and I'm sure he's probably the first one to go once Connor Timmins plays. Have we talked about that? Yes, we did talk about that trade. Sorry.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't understand this team at all. I've failed to understand it for the last 3 years, to be honest. Like what is this? What am I missing?
They also basically in this stretch they do end the Devils winning streak. So they stop it from hitting Magic
Have we
14.
have we talked about that game?
No, we haven't. Okay, listen, Alex. I did watch. I didn't watch the game, obviously, but I did watch the highlights. I agree with one of those goals getting called back. One of them. That was the blatant kick. The goaltender interference. I understood how, but I think in that
Which
particular save,
which one? The
the
where
one where he like
from
clipped
behind the
his
net?
skate.
The one from behind the net?
Yeah.
Because there was that one too.
Yes.
There's two. Yeah, that
Um.
one I agree with.
Yes.
Yeah, that one I
That
agree with.
it was. Listen, I just like the Minnesota game is one thing. Like I do think it was a bit like, listen, when people saying Matt Murray uses the post to kick off, I'm like, yeah, I get that. A lot of goalies do that 3 times. I'm like, come on, Matt Murray, come on. Um,
I mean, hey, here's the solution. Freaking call it. Like
yeah.
again,
So because
so
apparently the
here's
refs
the
in
issue.
Minnesota went to talk to him, call the
So
penalty.
call
Then
it. So call it again. I love these conversations because they somehow turn it not with the two of us, but like how they suddenly turn into, the league loves the Leafs. I know clearly.
no, they don't.
Like,
Like
are
they just
you
whoever
blind?
thinks that,
No,
no.
you're. Let's go back like what 2 years, dead middle of the pandemic.
How
They
about go back to the Justin Hall pick?
Yeah,
Like I
okay.
think that's all you need. Sorry, I'm
All
sorry,
right,
but like
all
you know what
right.
I
Listen,
mean.
you said it,
I'm
not
sorry.
me. I've been thinking it,
It
but
was
you
a
said
bad
it.
call. It was a
Listen,
bad
man.
call.
I agree with you. I agree with you, but I've been
It was a
keeping that
bad
thought to
call.
myself for months. I agree with you, but remember
Yeah, it was
when
bad.
it was a bad call? It was bush
It
league.
was an
Whatever,
awful call.
whatever. I'm not gonna talk about it. I cried a little bit. No, I did it. I did it. But I didn't cry. I was downtown. It was not a good night. I got chirped hard that night. I had my Leafs jersey on. I got chirped hard. I kept my mouth
Oh
shut.
no.
I kept my mouth shut, but I got chirped hard. Whatever. We talked about. Remember, I got every Leaf fan I looked at was just dead in their soul. There was no life in them. Remember when the Leafs wanted to train in the summer? They're rookies, and then the league's like, no, you can't do that anymore. Yeah,
Yeah.
the league
Yeah.
loves the Leafs, clearly. That's why they're actually part of the executive owner committee, right? They're not. But if that makes everyone feel better. How about we just call it? Like, I agree. You're right. Like 3 times in one game? Really? Really? Just call the play, man. That's it. It's so simple. I don't know why it's turned into the league. The league loves the Leafs.
Listen.
Sorry. What
All right,
tangent?
no, I get it. I get it.
I go
It's
on the tangent.
like here's the thing. If this had happened against the Leafs, like I God help me, I think I would have deleted Twitter.
Oh yeah,
It would have
absolutely.
been bedlam.
No,
Absolute
I don't
bedlam.
blame them. I don't blame Jersey fans for saying anything, man. It's the way she
Maybe don't
goes.
throw beer on the ice though.
Yes.
Maybe
Okay.
don't
So
do that.
let me rephrase that.
Also, the goddamn Colorado fans throwing gummy bears on the ice. You
Oh
just
yeah.
won the cup.
Yeah.
You won the cup. What's your problem?
What? Like, I think, yeah, man. Enough of these winning teams throwing things on the ice. Like someone did it last year in Toronto against the Penguins. I think it was. It's like you guys are winning. Like, shut up. Like, just stop throwing stuff on the ice. 13 games in a row, and they're throwing stuff on the ice. Bush League, man. Listen. People threw things in Toronto. Listen, they threw a waffle on the ice for crying out loud. That's also not
Not as bad
okay.
as Philly. Remember when they were like throwing batteries at Santa or something?
Oh my god. Yeah,
Great
it's
city.
okay. It's okay. They're mascots also. Remember when?
Allegedly, before you say what you're about to say, he allegedly punched the kid. Allegedly punched the kid. Alex, you know it's important to say allegedly.
But it's just the visual of that monster. That monster
I feel
that
like
looks like Gritty.
if he did it, if he did hit the kid, I feel like what he either did one or two things. He either just punched the kid and then stood still, or he hit the kid turned around, Gritty went to eye level with the kid and just tilted his head like Michael Myers. Like, what are you gonna do about it?
That googly eyed, Gritty. The Michael Myers
Allegedly.
the Michael Myers from every other
Don't
movie
go
but
or
the last one.
yo. It's such a bad. It's just a bad movie. It's just a
Such a
bad
bad
movie.
movie.
Halloween Ends. Don't watch it,
No,
folks. It's bad. It's
that's not
bad.
good.
I don't go to the movies often, but then when I do, and I have to watch a movie like that for one of my favorite franchise, it's bad.
It's
I
bad.
want my money. That was disrespectful. By
At
the
least you
way,
didn't get two
apparently,
drinks, so
okay, all right. There was reported on, I think it was in 32 Thoughts, like the bit of the written version, because
yeah.
Freeman decided to put out half of those for once. Sorry, Joe. I get why you're not doing them anymore, but still, forget the podcast. I want the goddamn written article. We get more out of it. Just do it. Jesper Bratt apparently and his agent Rick Camerow, can't say that right, probably, for Elliot Freeman have begun contracts extension talks with New Jersey. He can't sign before January 1st, but they can talk. And if I am Jesper Bratt, I am taking you to the cleaners.
Oh, for sure. Like there's no reason not to. That guy is an absolute beauty last year, and he's continuing it on into this year. And I'm just thinking off the top of my head what I don't even know what his compare like in sorry, I don't even know what I could look at in terms of what his comparables would be.
You think him and Cole Caulfield are looking at each other like, hey, do you wanna help us out? It's gonna be a lot of money anyway.
Yeah, he's
But
24. Like
Bratt's
again,
older.
I look at maybe these are the wrong comparisons to go to. I think you kind of throw the Jason Robertson one out of the
Oh, that's
equation.
such a better idea. Jesus.
No, but I feel like you throw that one out of the equation because I don't think either
Oh
side
yeah, sorry.
is gonna sign a 3 or 4 year deal at this point. I feel like well, they could in a worst case scenario, but I think it's in New Jersey's eyes, let's lock this guy up, man. Like they did with all like they did with Hughes and Heishier and obviously bringing in Hamilton as well. I wonder again, you're looking at what Kachuk got. You're looking at what Tim Stützle got. You're looking at what Josh Norris got. And you're saying, okay, though I wonder to me, those are your bare minimums. Like you're 8 million at least. I think that's bare minimum is what he could get paid.
And we'll see what he gets. We'll see what he gets. Alex, that's everything, I think. Um, Only 15 unread messages from the group chat for me. That's not enough.
It's not enough. You mean you don't
Man,
like when you get 200?
I don't, but still, I still can't believe that. I still can't believe Patchy Maroon did that. That's so good. Okay, sorry. Yeah, we're done. Okay,
We're done.
you're not getting a fancy end outro. Sorry. No, 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 no. Bye.